Hey, everybody. This is American Nana. I hope you're all doing well. See, today is December the 6th. Wow. Who's ready for Christmas? I'm always done by now and haven't even started. So there's my answer. Um, I've checked and checked the site to see if there's been any decision from the appellate court yet, and nope. So I don't see how this trial is going to actually be done in January as Beverly wants. But either way you go, I wanted to revisit a few things that bother me. You know, uh, I guess that I would have thought that people would have the same thought process as I did during the trial, watching the trial, and right from the jump, it looked really, really bad. I mean, really bad. I want to know: are there truly any law enforcement officers that would actually say out loud, if you found a person almost dead in someone's front yard with only one shoe on, no winter jacket because you didn't know this person doesn't wear winter jackets, and it is starting to storm horribly. A winter storm is right there. It's really picking up hours later. But you know it's coming. So, as a police officer, you roll up on that scene. The house behind them is dark. I really and honestly don't care if you have a warrant. I would wonder if the people in the house were alive. Were they okay? What in the world is happening here? That's my thought, and I'm not even a policeman. There is absolutely no way anyone can convince me that Jennifer McCabe didn't know something. For all of her talk and her putting on airs as to how she would react or what she would do, and this is her family and families first and all this other crap that came out of her mouth. How could people miss the fact this person, basically to everyone, was found dead in her sister's front yard, and she didn't have any concern for the people in the house? No fear, no question, nothing. Nor did the police. Of course, Saraf had no idea she had relatives living in the house. But as soon as somebody got there that knew, he just let her go on in the house. So I have a few problems with that. One is she knew that everybody in the house was okay, or she would have been nuts. Anybody would have been. But instead, she just calmly walked into a black just pitch black house, and quietly made her way up to the room where her sister and brother-in-law were sleeping soundly, not hearing a thing, not sensing a thing. I mean, this makes no sense to me. Somebody tell me how this could have even happened, that we could even possibly have this type of situation. If that were me and I pulled up and there was someone dead at my brother's home, I would be panicked, wanting the police to please go see if the people in the house were okay. Could the person who did this still be near? What has happened? Are the people in the house in danger? That would have been my that would have been that who else? Who else logically thinks this? So I don't understand why the jurors didn't think it. I mean, spell it out for them. There is something very wrong with this whole situation, and the bullshit that you need to have a search warrant. You do your due diligence and make sure the people in the house aren't injured or dead or dying, is what I would think in that situation. But Jennifer McCabe had absolutely no fear of walking in that house. And for whatever reason, they allowed all the people just to hang out together until they could interview just a couple. Uh, y'all just tell me. This is just such bullshit. So hold on, let me find this spot that I want because it takes me a minute. Okay, so this was interesting. Uh, Listening to Jackson question him. So let's play this.
Do you recognize your dash cam video being on the left of the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you looked at Sergeant Good's dash cam video, which is squared up on the right side of the screen?
No.
You've never seen it?
No.
Okay. Does it appear to you that these are two different perspectives of the same scene? In other words, you see the car or the SUV on the left side of the screen right here, correct?
Yes, sir.
See that same SUV right there, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does that appear to be two different perspectives, two different angles?
Yes.
Of basically the same thing?
Yes.
Okay. I want to draw your attention to the individuals to the left of the SUV right here. There's a person wearing a hood with fur on it. Is that Kerry Roberts? To your memory?
I don't know.
Okay. There appears to be another person with a darker jacket standing just in front of that person with the hood and fur. You see that person?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to focus on the person in the darker jacket.
Sure.
I believe, and the only reason I'm asking you to focus at this point is because I want to try to play this just once and see if you recognize what's depicted in the video.
Sure.
What I expect you may see is this person move out of sight behind the SUV, and then in the background, there's an SUV parked in the driveway. Pay special attention to that portion of the SUV and see if you see that person in the dark jacket pass from right to left in front of that SUV as if they're going to the house. Let's go ahead and play it. Go ahead and pause it. Have you seen the person in the dark jacket leave the view?
Yes.
Did she appear to go behind the SUV?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and play it. Go ahead and stop track. And now I'm going to ask to draw your attention to that car with snow on it. Pay special attention to that car as the film continues to run. Go ahead. Pause. Do you see a person standing in front of the car?
It appears to be a person. Yes.
Walking from right to left?
Yes.
Would that be toward the house?
Yep.
Yes, it would be.
And also, if you wouldn't mind switching your perspective, now you're looking more at the front of the house. Continue watching the film and see if you see that same person walking toward the house. Stop. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see. Oh, yeah. Yes. I saw the shadow. Yes.
Right. Shadow yes. Walking toward the front of the house. That was Jennifer McCabe going into the house, wasn't it?
I have no idea.
Was it a person going into the house?
It was a person. Yes.
Did you give anybody any permission to go into the house?
No, not my own.
Would you think that a witness in a homicide scene, go ahead and raise the lights, thank you. Would you think that a witness at a homicide scene being allowed to go into a house to make contact with other witnesses?
I didn't know it was a homicide scene, sir.
If I could finish my question. Do you think it's appropriate for a witness at a potential homicide scene, an unconscious person scene, whatever, crime scene?
Yes.
To make contact with other witnesses and begin discussing the situation unsupervised?
Can you rephrase that question, sir?
Do you think that's an appropriate thing to have happen?
I have no answer for that, sir. I don't know what you're asking.
Officer Saraf, when you go to a crime scene,
Yes, sir.
one of the first things that you want to do is secure the scene and separate witnesses so that interviews could be conducted, correct?
Sure.
You wouldn't want witnesses just cavorting together and getting their story straight, right?
Correct.
You'd want to avoid that at all costs,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And why is that?
Sure. Unless you're at the Albert's house, sure.
So they can't collaborate their story.
Yet there was a person walking from the area where a body was found in the lawn of a house, walking into the house to make contact with other individuals, correct?
It appeared that way, yes, sir.
Does that seem appropriate to you?
No.
Of course not.
And we
We've
think
talked
this is
a bit
fine.
about what you did and didn't hear at the scene from my client. At any point when you were at that location, did you hear my client
Hold on,
repeating
hold
the
on.
phrase?
So put it to him that way. No, it shouldn't. It's not appropriate. How can these people even sit up on the stand? Brennan, there's nothing that you can do that will make any of these police officers or troopers look like they even knew what they were doing. Somebody needs to put a bug in Brennan's ear, because you can't fix this mess, dude. There's no fixing it. I mean, there's truly not any fixing it, right? I mean, how could you even think that you could fix it? It's ridiculous. And it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. And these people, they get paid a lot of money, and they don't know how to act at a crime scene or potential crime scene. I mean, nobody would possibly think that a man dead in somebody's front yard could have been a possible crime scene. I mean, that's something that happens every day in Canton, I'm guessing. They act like it was no big deal. Okay, here it is. Well, almost.
That statement, correct?
I did not hear that, no.
Okay.
Sir, you were at 34 Fairview for more than an hour before you cleared the scene, right?
Yes, sir.
You were at the location of the body of John O'Keefe.
Yes.
In other words, you just didn't stay in your cruiser. You walked out to where John O'Keefe was.
No, I was in my cruiser at different times. I
Must have been a bad question.
Okay.
You didn't just stay in your cruiser. At points, you got out of your cruiser, walked over, made contact with the women, and you were standing next to the body.
Yes.
And you were obviously looking around. You noticed some footprints,
Yes,
and you didn't even notice some lack of footprints.
that's correct.
So you were being observant at the area of the body
Yes,
and the area adjacent to the body.
yes,
You were looking for anything that might have been out of place?
yes,
Anything of any evidentiary value, correct?
yes,
You never saw or otherwise observed, located a single piece of taillight material, did you?
no,
You certainly didn't see 45 pieces of broken plastic or taillight material, did you?
no,
You never located or otherwise observed John O'Keefe's missing shoe
no,
or any other clothing of his?
I do, no,
Officer Saraf, did you ever think to look inside the house
no,
for that missing shoe?
no,
That never crossed your mind?
no.
You think that might have been a smart thing to do at the time?
Objection, Your Honor.
Rephrase the question.
Sure. Do you think that would have been appropriate protocol when dealing with a body laying on a lawn that is partially unclothed to look inside the house of the lawn?
No.
You didn't think that would have been appropriate protocol?
No.
For you or anybody else?
No,
Obviously, you did not conduct a search of that house, did you?
nope,
And you're aware that to this day, no law enforcement officer ever conducted a search of that house.
I'm not aware of that.
Just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
I mean, that is so unreal. Who in their right mind believes that? Anybody? I tell you what, Brennan, I
No further
don't.
questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything, Mr. Lally?
Briefly, Your Honor.
Nobody's that stupid. And Lally always has to have second go rounds.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
You were asking questions, you were shown a dispatch log, is that correct?
That's correct.
And
Sorry,
dispatch log
I
as
don't
far
wanna
as,
hear what
the
he
Canton
said.
Police
Okay, so Stephen Mullaney, let's see. Um, he's got a couple of questions asked to him that let's listen.
Fire department and placing him on the backboard and then helping get him onto the stretcher.
Now, as far as you mentioned that the where you came and located Mr. O'Keefe, you recall sort of what position his body was in when you first observed him?
He was lying face up, was back on the ground.
And you recall where he was in relation to the roadway, if you could tell?
Yeah, he was on the front lawn. But I didn't know exactly where the curb was, but I would think about approximately 10 feet from the curb.
And so you mentioned that you couldn't tell exactly where the curb was. Why is that?
There was snow on the ground.
So the snow sort of covered the curb at that time that you're there, is that correct?
Yes.
But you approximated it was about 10 feet into the lawn.
Yeah.
And the snow on the ground that you observed at the time when you first arrived, about how much snow had accumulated on the ground?
I'd say at that point approximately 6 inches.
And what, if any, snow did you observe on any part of Mr. O'Keefe's body when you first saw him?
There was really no snow, but you could tell that he had been in the conditions. It was almost as if it was like water, kind of like frozen on kind of to his face.
And did you make any?
Okay. Did y'all see him struggling trying to find the words right there? Because when he was testifying, I literally remember I had tears running down my face listening to him because his description. There was about 6 inches of snow on the ground, barely any on Officer O'Keefe. But you could tell he had been out in the elements because he had frozen water on his face. Tears. The frozen water was tears. I mean, that's just how I felt then, and that's how I felt again now. Watching him struggle for the words, he's describing tears. Let's see if he says anything else that need.
Any observations, or what, if any, observations did you make beyond his face as far as sort of the rest of his body?
I don't recall really any other observations.
Do you recall how he was dressed?
I do not.
Do you recall any, what, if any, snow was on any other part of his body?
I do not.
Now, as far as Mr. O'Keefe was concerned, what, if any, observations did you make as far as any injuries to Mr. O'Keefe at that individual?
I did not recall any injury.
All right, excuse me. So, Lieutenant Paul Gallagher. Brilliant, brilliant. 30 years. I'm going to guess that he's probably way overpaid. Doesn't know how to process scenes in the snow in Massachusetts.
They used a fire hydrant, a tree, a flagpole, and I'm not sure what else. I don't recall specifically what it was
Crime
attached
scene
to.
tape. It didn't stay up.
And with regard, you mentioned there were photographs that were taken prior to the implementation of a leaf blower. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And I can just ask a little bit about that. As far as the leaf blower was concerned, why was that a decision as far as that being an implement to use in this particular scene?
It was a unique scene. There was snow. I had never processed a scene in the snow. I had seen a leaf blower used in the snow, and it's quite effective at being controlled. So that's why it was readily accessible. The scene was debilitating as we were on scene with the weather. Snow was piling up, and I thought that was the best method at that time.
And prior to the arrival
He had seen it used. I'm guessing in a. He said he had seen it used. So did you see that method used in a movie, in training? You know, for all the stupid ass questions Lally asked, he could have asked him. And can you explain when a leaf blower was used? What do you mean you've seen it? Like in your dreams? I don't know. I don't know.
of Sergeant Good back to the scene with the leaf blower, what, if anything else, was done to sort of document the scene at that time?
In addition to photographs, what we did was I wasn't sure how the roadway ended. I wasn't sure if there was a sidewalk, a curb, a berm, or whether it was just grass. Excuse me. So Sergeant Lank and I dug out what I believe is called a 6-inch Cape Cod asphalt berm, exposed it so we could get a better perspective of how far Mr. O'Keefe might have been off the roadway.
May I approach the witness?
Yes.
They probably could have marked it with something, right? Something?
Direct your attention.
Nothing was marked. Where's all the photographs?
Direct your attention what's currently marked as exhibit 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15.
Oh Lord, we're not going to listen to Lally. I just wanted to hear that.
1.
I'm still in awe. I'm still to this day in awe that he got up there and talked about using a leaf blower. Just unreal. All right, I decided since it's, we probably want to get this out to the public that there's a new way to process a crime scene in the snow. And you're fixing to be taught how from a veteran police officer. He has been a police officer for 30 years. So,
The last exhibit is this. If I can publish that to the
Yes.
anyway, this is 1 through. Sorry, Ms. Gilman, if you could just pause it right there. And Lieutenant Gallagher, do you recognize what's up on screen?
I do.
And what do you recognize?
It's me operating the leaf blower and at the scene where John O'Keefe was discovered.
And who is operating the leaf blower in these videos?
I am.
And who, if anyone else from your department, is sort of present while this process is going?
Detective Sergeant Lank is documenting, and Sergeant Good is also assisting.
And Ms. Gilman, thank you very much. If you could just play along.
See, it removes the snow. I was removing the snow layer by layer. And right here, you can see it exposing the cocktail glass. You're going to see red spots appear as I remove it layer by layer. These pink spots start to turn to be dark red spots. As you see, we can control it. We were concerned with whatever other.
Oh, hold on and wait for a question.
As you can see, it just takes it layer by layer.
Hold on for a second. Mr. Lally, Ms. Gilman, can you pause it? So if you have a question for the lieutenant, all right, you're asking him to narrate the whole thing. We're not going to do it that way. And you can pause and then question. It's great you're keeping your voice up over the sound of the leaf blower, but it's a little distracting.
I understand, y'all.
So do you have a question, Mr. Lally?
Just briefly at this point, so Lieutenant Gallagher, with respect to as you're conducting this whole process, what, if anything, are you concerned about as far as throughout this process of trying to locate evidence?
Were we concerned with the weather destroying biological evidence at that time?
And so what, if anything, were you doing with regard?
We were trying to take the snow that had fallen over the blood, and we were trying to remove it to expose the blood.
Brennan, do you see how far up, how high up in the snow that blood is? I'm just curious. It's almost to the top, really. The leaf blower is barely having to remove anything. But I mean, hell, if you're going to put them in red Solo cups, what difference does it make if you just scoop the stuff out? But what you're showing us right here, Karen Reed could not have done this. When she left, the snow was just starting to stick to the ground. The ground is freezing. The snow is falling. The blood is going to freeze very quickly. And it's not going to seep upwards. It will seep down, but it's not, I mean, the reason it's so high up in the snow, dude, is because it was done after she left. If these blood droplets would have been there since midnight, he wouldn't have seen this at 6 a.m. Do you follow me, son? I want you to follow me because the snow had to take time to fall. And in those hours that the snow is falling, it is not going to be oozing its way up. If anything was absorbed in the snow above the blood, it's going to freeze right there, but it's not going to keep coming upward because it's going to freeze. This part baffled me during the trial. I've said it. I've said it in a video before. And then Aussie said it in one of her videos. Why doesn't this disprove everything? I'm just curious, Brennan. You really, I mean, you can't change this. This is the evidence. You can't change it. Just wait till you get to the solo cups, dude. You're going to stand up there and tell us this was anything professional? Well, I'm going to end this here for now because there's just so much. So we'll pick back up with my attitude and my opinions about this wonderful law enforcement we have going on here. Fantastic group of people, 20 and 30-year veterans on the force. And we'll advance to red solo cups in my next video. Can't wait to see that. But dude, mm-mm. Somebody listen to me because this is my common sense sitting right here. It's my common sense. You know, I know that you have a lot of very educated people on juries and that are trying the case, but some of us common sense folks wants to understand how in the hell he even saw pink spots in the snow to use the leaf blower. If in fact Karen Reed had struck Officer John O'Keefe 6 hours ago, it'd be impossible. In my brain right here, it's telling me this is bullshit. Knowing this fact right here, how could you even go to court? You cannot make the evidence fit the crime, folks. You can't make it. I don't know what your problem is, but you got a lot of questionable things. You've got a dark house with a dead man on the lawn, and you don't even think to see if the people in the house are dead or alive either. So, and this is all within this right here was on day 5. When you hit this point, I mean, I was already questioning what the Hades, I really was. But when you hit this point, dude, yeah, you lost me right there. Is even from here on out, all I did was ask myself and said it out loud to the TV as I was watching it or to my screen. How did you even get her approved at the grand jury? Whatever it is you want, charged, indicted, whatever you want to call it. What was the grand jury told? Man, I wish we could see grand juries notes. This is insane. So I'm gonna have to let y'all go for today. I'll find some more interesting stuff tomorrow. I just figured this would be a good spot to finish, and having a